Hello everyone, Sanka Koga here, back with another video. And this video is a follow-up video to the news surrounding Dispatch's release on Switch and Switch 2. Now, the game released for Switch 2 a couple weeks ago, and it was censored. Basically, parts of the game were censored, like profanity, the middle finger, and nudity. Like giant black bars, and people were very upset because Nintendo was perfectly fine allowing Cyberpunk on their platform uncensored. Why is Dispatch the exception? Now, when I made that video, I was pretty upset with Nintendo because this was not a good thing for people. Because people want to see the art in its true form, and they have the right to see that. The game they paid for to see that. They're grown. And then I've been doing some digging, and it turns out I was a bit too quick to blame Nintendo like everyone else was doing, because it's so fun to hate on Nintendo for their decisions. Like, Nintendo deserves to be called out, but this is something that clearly doesn't have anything to do with them. Because last night we got a statement from Nintendo that was originally reported on Go Nintendo, but I'm over here on Nintendo Life where they're reporting this. Nintendo responds to Dispatch Switch censorship with official statement. Okay. So we're gonna read here. The superhero comedy Dispatch is out for the Switch and Switch 2 this week, and as we've already highlighted in our review, the visual censorship toggle has been removed from the Nintendo versions of the game, meaning censorship is automatically activated with no option to change it. Now, before we read Nintendo's statement, we're going to read the statement from AdHoc that we read in the previous video. AdHoc Studio. Different platforms have different content criteria, and submissions are evaluated individually. For our Switch release, we worked with Nintendo to adapt certain elements so Dispatch could be on their platform. So basically, they were under the impression that Nintendo made them make changes to the Switch version so they could release it on their platform. But what didn't make sense is that, as I mentioned earlier, Nintendo has been more lenient with third-party games allowing nudity on their platform, like Cyberpunk 2077 has full-blown nudity on that game, and also the slopware hentai AI-generated games. I know, it's crazy. And now here's Nintendo's statement. Now, Go Nintendo has got an official statement about Dispatch's censorship after contacting Nintendo. Here's what I had to say. Now, here's Nintendo's official response. Nintendo requires all games on its platforms to receive ratings from independent organizations and to meet our established content and platform guidelines. While we inform partners when their titles don't meet our guidelines, Nintendo does not make changes to partner content. We also do not discuss specific content or the criteria used in making these determinations. So, if I were to translate this from corporate speak to English, they're basically saying they didn't do shit. So, they had nothing to do with it. As stated by Nintendo here, games on its platforms must be rated and meet its established guidelines. While it informs its partners when titles don't meet its guidelines, it does not make changes to partner content and also doesn't discuss the content or criteria used to make determinations. So yeah, Nintendo had nothing to do with the censorship of Dispatch. And there's also another factor, which I've been putting updates in the comment section in my previous video, the pinned comment, that Sero, the ratings board for Japan, which is basically the Japanese version of the ESRB in the US and the PEGI in the EU, they're more stricter with its guidelines than the ESRB and PEGI. Basically censoring nudity. And I think this theory definitely holds true because the PlayStation 5 version of this patch launched in Japan. Also launched in Japan the same time as the Switch version, and it's also censored with no option to disable it. So this is definitely not Nintendo's fault. So AdHoc basically want to get this version, the Switch version, out as soon as possible. So they gotta pass through the Sarah Ratings Board to get it approved, and just basically release that version that's censored to everyone else, not just Japan. While the PS5 version has a version that's uncensored for everyone else, and the censored version in Japan. So, what I find really baffling is that they basically threw Nintendo under the bus here. Like, why did you lie about this? Like, you could have just told us beforehand before people bought the game. Like, I know AdHoc is a indie studio, they're a smaller studio, and they probably couldn't afford to make a separate version to release uncensored. But you should have known this was coming. Like, why did you wait till the last minute before you took people's pre-order money for the Switch version with that pre-order discount and knew this was happening? Like, this is only gonna make people not want to not want to support your game even more. Because you made Nintendo kind of look bad, look like idiots. Had people thinking that this was Nintendo's fault because of censorship they've done in the past, and they're not doing it as much as they used to anymore. Like, they had to give out refunds, which is valid because they didn't want to support they did not want to support censorship in games, and I get it. But you basically made them look bad. Like, I don't really get it. Now, I hope AdHoc gives another statement, like a formal apology to not just Nintendo, but to everyone who purchased the game that has this censorship. I hope they put out a patch that gives you the option to toggle to turn censorship off. Like, I'm gonna play this patch on Switch, but I'm probably gonna wait until they put out a version that has the uncensored content. I'm gonna play on PS5 first whenever I have the chance to buy the game and play it, and double dip later for the Switch version. Because this patch, to me, sounds like an awesome game, and it has developers from Telltale in this game that worked on Tales from the Borderlands, The Wolf Among Us, and other stuff. I want to support this game, but they really need to make amends, and I hope it's soon. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. This has been Sunget Koga, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!